Hi, my name's Tony Sharples and welcome to Old Dog New Tricks. Now, it's a Friday, so I thought it would be a good chance to do an update on my videos on what's been hard and what's been easy in the journey so far. I haven't done one of these for 2 or 3 weeks now because I've been really focused on doing my 7-part video series on online selling and particularly selling on Amazon. So I thought now would be a good time to come back and look back over the last few weeks and back to the beginning of when I started and give you some thoughts about what's been hard and what's been easy. So I think what I would probably do is break this back down into the 3 different types of people, I suppose, that I thought would be interested in the perspective. And the first one would be, I suppose, people like me who are looking to use digital marketing to build an online brand from scratch. And essentially those people, a bit like me, are in fact selling themselves as the brand, or it may be that they're selling digitally oriented products like e-publications, training courses, consulting, and things like that, rather than hard products in an e-store environment. Looking back at that, I think people who are looking to develop online brands, it's a far more strategic oriented journey than it is a tech oriented journey. I found it fairly easy to get the tech in place. I've looked and I've tried different things. I'm using WordPress as the foundation of what I'm using to sort of hold everything together, and I've been looking at plugins and adaptions and different content types and all of that sort of stuff to drive that along, and really, I suppose, in the process thinking about where am I heading with this. I think also for people who are looking to build a brand, and therefore realistically, unless they freakishly go viral, they're looking to make revenue off a long tail of content that they put online. One of the things that I've really been focused on is making sure that I have a good, solid body of work online so that when someone goes to the site, they can look at it and go, okay, this looks like a good, serious amount of content that I can look at, and I can look back through at what this person's done. And I think that's an important thing, because the thing that comes across in pretty well all aspects of digital, and this includes whether you're selling toothbrushes on Amazon or whether you are trying to become an influencer on Instagram, is the reality is there's an awful lot of people out there trying to do exactly the same thing that you're doing. And therefore, I think it's really important to try and find ways to really distinguish yourself from everyone else on the one hand, but on the other hand, there's an aspect of credibility in terms of having an amount of content available that people can look at and go, okay, this is a serious site. The person is obviously putting thought and work into it, so I think that I can start up a conversation with this person, versus I suppose going to a YouTube channel or a blog site or a podcast site where you go in and there's 2 or 3 videos or podcasts and a couple of posts, and that's about it. So for me, the focus is building that body of work. And honestly, I think I've got a year or 6 months to go. This brings me to the second point, which is the sort of second group that I think this content is relevant to, and that is people who have an existing business and they're really looking to use digital to expand the footprint of that business. Now, there are a lot of strategic things to do on that front, but I think tech becomes really important there. And when I mean tech, I mean you've really got to be thinking about things like not just, the website. Am I going to use WooCommerce? Am I going to use Shopify? Am I going to use Amazon or eBay? Or things like that. But it's all that stuff to do with online payments, logistics, delivery, handling customer feedbacks, handling returns, and all that sort of stuff. So I think for someone going down that path, it's a much more technically oriented task, and I'll probably come back on that more in a series down the track. The third group of people that I'm sort of targeting with what I'm doing online is really people who are looking at it going, well, look, I'm not really sure what I want to do with digital, but I need an income stream. And I'm also assuming that a lot of those people feel nervous about digital, about online, the internet, and all of those sorts of things, really because, and this is one of the core principles of Old Dog New Tricks, is they just didn't grow up in a time where mobile phones, Amazon, PayPal, YouTube, and streaming TV and all of those things weren't ever present in our lives. And there's naturally a bit of nervousness on that front. So I will continue to do a stream of stuff, and generally the flavour of what I'm going to try and do with everything I do is to try and break down and simplify and give it a more of a macro perspective rather than getting down involved in the nitty-gritty details of specific topics. And the reality of that is that, and I think this is pretty well with every topic, and I found it a lot in the series that I did on Amazon and eBay and online selling, is there is an awful lot of information out there when you want to get down to the nitty-gritties of a specific issue. So if you're thinking about sourcing from China or buying from AliExpress or setting up an FBA store on Amazon, there's a lot of information out there where you can drill down into the very specific information and find good sources of resource and support that are really up to date. So I'm not going to try and get down into that level with what I do. I'm more so trying to say, okay, this is broadly how it works. These are the things you should be thinking about, and here's a potential path forward for you, pretty well based on what I've been learning along the way as well. So I hope that helps, and I will see you next time.